Oh boy. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend of PaizoCon adventures so far. It is a rare opportunity that we here get to just do the shenanigans that is a one-off that has no further consequences for the rest of our long-term, years-spanning campaigns, where we feel safe to make possibly questionable and dumb decisions, where we all get to wear super awesome costumes, because it turns out that Marn over here actually owns a whole bunch of armor. So, you know.
Adult nerd with lots of money. Of course we own armor.
You kidding me? I made this when I was like freaking poor as crap in undergrad.
It's not plastic. It's actual metal armor. Metal and leather.
I punched it just to see how hard it is. I'm glad I didn't punch it hard.
Well, I hope you enjoy hanging out in that for the next 2 hours.
Surprisingly cozy, actually.
Yeah, fair enough. Hopefully it doesn't get too terribly uncomfortable, because we are going to run an adventure. This is not our normal weekly Age of Ashes campaign, because, of course, this weekend, as I'm sure most of you know, the PaizoCon is a thing that is going on right now, and there has been a whole lot of interesting stuff being talked about and revealed here on this channel. I, for one, am very excited for the Ancestry Guide, which is the thing that is now coming with a whole bunch of new races, so we can be playable kobolds.
Super excited for that.
One.
What?
Yeah.
It's coming. Oh, there's been some announcements this weekend.
Oh, Dragon's Lair.
It's been a good time. Also, I personally, as the lifetime perma-GM, am very happy about the sudden appearance of a second bestiary, doubling the amount of random monsters that I have to throw at people to do things with. But that is neither here nor there. For now, all we're going to do is an unrelated adventure. And, like I said, this has nothing to do with anything we normally run. This is a one-off. But to start that one-off, because everything starts somewhere. Once upon a time. What, like 3 months ago now? 4 months ago?
4 months.
4 months ago?
Yeah, I think something like that.
When we first started dipping our toes into Pathfinder 2nd Edition to learn, we didn't want to go directly into a big adventure path or something that was going to have long-spanning consequences when we weren't entirely positive how all of the classes and rules and whatnot were going to work. We needed a sampler. And fortunately, Paizo provided us with a pretty good sampler in the form of the Fall of Plaguestone.
We sampled it already.
The mental scars remain to this day.
Took a few samples
The
of us,
Hunger
too.
Games of mods.
SEAL training.
Jason Bowman has forged us in the fires of severe encounters to be the players that we are today. Very cautious.
PTSD.
Never ever ending an action in melee range of a monster so that they can do bad things to you. And, just really having a deep-set fear of growing any kind of an attachment to our player characters who may be immediately murdered at any time. So, obviously, for a one-shot, we're gonna do more of that. How could we not? So we have, sitting here with us now, the remnants of our party from our own Fall of Plaguestone adventures. But you don't need to know anything about what's happened in Entrance Folly so far to follow along this. This is just another minor chapter in their quest. And if you don't know them, let's have some quick introductions here. Filippo
Broadshield, a minor dwarf noble who discovered at an early age that he had, let's say, an attraction to the same sex. And his parents wanted him to breed, and he really did not want to. So they sent him off to live with his cousin, and instead of being a good little dwarf and going and getting married and producing more little dwarfs, he of course decided to become a bard and run around and play dirty songs and get drunk and generally carouse, because why wouldn't you?
Just dwarven clan things.
Dwarven
really.
clan.
Like, this is...
And he's written several excellent songs and epic poems now. He's getting quite a reputation in certain parts of the world. And he hooked up with these people to almost die many, many, many times. So forged in the fires of almost death, we set out once again.
Take this hero point. So you're going to start everybody off with one of them for this here adventure. And I'm not sure. I was given no guidance on this one way or the other. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to use your Paizo points to contribute, especially if you've been watching a lot of PaizoCon. You should have a decent pile of them from watching all these reveal streams and everything throughout the weekend that you can use to hand out hero or villain points for this particular adventure, with the caveat that they are just for this particular adventure. So spend them if they are given to you.
No, save them for Esphus.
You have to use the hero points. You literally cannot hoard them.
Really?
You can't do it. There's nothing to hoard them for.
Shh, don't tell her that.
And thanks to Link 1429, I also am going to start with one of my
Thank
nice little
you.
villain
Because
points.
Thank you, Link.
Plaguestone is
Because
not hard enough.
It's not Plaguestone if I don't kill at least one of you in the next 2 hours. How about you, Marn?
Marn. So Marn doesn't know too much about his background. He came to in the half-collapsed basement of a cathedral shortly after the Whispering Tyrant broke his chain and laid waste to the entire Eye of Dread now. He scrambled out of it, outrunning a zombie horde, scavenged some armor. The only thing he has with him is his trusty sword, which very helpfully had Marn carved right into the blade, which he's like, that is totally my name. And he took that sword with him. We've discovered that the sword is actually from an ancient legion of the Knights of Last Wall, one of the founding ones, very intricately engraved. He just basically his primary thing was get the heck away from all of this craziness. Although he feels very guilty about that. He was apparently a Knight of Last Wall, though he has no memory of it. And running away from an undead horde that's laying waste to your cathedral is not really a very knightly thing to do.
Yeah, options limited sometimes, though,
Sometimes
especially when
so,
Tarbafon
sometimes so.
is involved. So now you all know exactly about as much about Marn as Marn does. So we're solidly on page here.
But thankfully, he's on his way to feeling a bit better about himself because he happened to run into the company of a cleric of Saren Ray who was talking all about redemption and all about forgiveness and getting better.
Please
So-
don't touch my fiance.
Take this hero point to start us off. And I, too, will pull from the trove of my mimic here. Because official Paizo,
I see how
who
it
is
is.
the
Later.
channel owner, has infinity Paizo points. And can do whatever they want.
Paizo, this is why
I'll
we can't
take
have
that,
nice
thank
things.
you.
I'm just going to go draw another scar on my face.
Mother. Adelpha, said cleric of Saren, right?
Well, my name's Adelpha Flamehair, and I'm just really happy to be here with all of you. I'm a cleric of Saren Ray, and I'm following my Filippo into I have to make sure to watch out for him. He recently gave me his grandmother's ring, which I've been waiting for like my whole life. And we're gonna get married, and I can't believe we're gonna get married. It's gonna be so much nicer than my sister's wedding because hers was, I don't know, it's just so trashy. So we're going to be getting married, and I'm just so excited about it. And I don't know why everybody keeps mentioning it. It's odd how many people mention that he's gay. Like, I just don't understand. Like, he's just a very joyous fellow, and I know he's gay. He's just so joyous all the time.
Maybe a slight misunderstanding going along between our two party dwarves, but that is, well, neither here nor there for now. Take this hero point. It may not be able to repair your dreams at a later occasion, but we'll see. And we have Rolled Geesh over here.
It's gonna take me a second.
Nice costume, Chief.
It's a monk. What do you want?
Get out of that halfling, guys.
Yeah.
It was actually, we don't have to deal with a monk, really. It is kind of hard. It just runs around bare-chested kicking people.
I could take off my shirt, but I don't think people want to see
Yeah, well, we
that.
would like to keep this channel also unbanned, so our hands were tied.
It's Monka TOS.
Are you gonna have to do him first? I'm too
He's
much.
the new guy.
I'm
You got
giggly.
Come on, you're on the spot, Rogies.
All right. Rolgish
Don't laugh.
Boghosh. I'm gonna laugh if you keep trying to point it out to me. A half-orc monk displaced by the expanse of the Chelish. Unfortunately, I ended up in this place, surrounded by absolutely all sorts of monsters, having to fight our way through so that we could get our caravan working again. We lost quite a lot of our sanity on the way. But here we are.
And we are alive.
And we are alive.
You are, at least, because this group here is one shy of what we headed into Etrin's Folly with. Because at the hand of just one too many monsters who started with B, we did end up losing Elrith.
To a blue
was,
dragon, though, so I feel like that's at least a decent end.
Is that how your legend?
That of
Because
course.
I'm pretty sure he got slapped by a bush.
Dude, no, blue dragon all the way. My story, my decision.
Take this hero point, Rolgish. Unfortunately enough, in the ensuing days since the events of the Fall of Plaguestone, since our adventures throughout Etrin's Folly and the areas nearby, we have come across a new companion to help us out with this latest adventure. Who are you exactly?
So, my name's Fuse, and I earned the name because I was wandering through an alchemist workshop one day and looking for something to eat, and that stuff over there looked pretty good. I mean, powders on things to make things taste better. I ate a whole bunch of it, and I blew my mouth up. And when I was found, I had a fuse left in my mouth, and so the owner of the shop said, "You must be Fuse," and I said, "Yep, that's me," and I ran screaming from the room. So, after that, I started to read and do other non-goblin things, like playing with things safely for some reason. This still works. My cousin was recently framed for murder. Finnick, who's
He's had a difficult few days, I believe.
he's a few nails short of a coffin. Good for him. And I met with the big tall green one and two hairy ones and a very scary man with a scar over his face. But I liked what they did for my cousin, and I told him I'd help him out.
Well, Fuse, our new favorite goblin here. Take this last hero point. May it protect you.
Oh
Each
no,
of you
not
have
for eating,
one.
not for eating.
Yeah, good luck with the holding that, the rolling dice and whatnot. I believe in you. You have
Just
Just
tell me
take
what
them
you
in your
need.
mouth.
spit the d20 vaguely
It's a
towards
very
the dice tray.
goblin thing to do.
It is.
It is. It fits. It works. This is a bit of a departure from Espis. I gotta take a moment to mentally align myself with this character here.
Yeah, it's like
This is a very
aligning. It's
different
like,
thing.
"Oh, come on, align."
Those of you who are all here for the Paizo Con shows for this adventure, we're actually here every Saturday. This isn't even that far off our normal time slot. We're always here on the Paizo channel doing our run through the Age of Ashes adventure path, actually, with these fine people here. And we're fairly early into book 2, I would say, still kind of dawning on that adventure. And this man over here plays what may be the edgiest forlorn elven ranger standing in the corner brooding. So this is a bit of a change. It's gonna take me a moment to adapt to. But
You're gonna be okay. Just breathe.
it's actually really hard for me. Okay. Anyway, after the events of the Fall of Plaguestone, well, there was only one thing on everyone's mind, really. Let's leave Plaguestone.
Yes.
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 Agreed.
Let's leave Etrin's Folly
Please.
and go absolutely anywhere else where there are far less horrors, there are far less lethal monsters and strange machinations behind the scenes, and there's hopefully significantly fewer turnips.
I like turnips. What's wrong with turnips?
Stop talking about them.
As you were readying your caravan to leave, Tamley making sure everything was in order, all of you gathering the rest of your things and loading the wagons back up, you were met, perhaps for a send-off, by the local bard, Flonk, who you had some brief meetings with during your time in the town. Normally in the feed mill, the tavern where he goes to perform. Your old caravan master, Bort, seemed to be some amount of fond of him anyway. Something that didn't really seem to rub off on the rest of you terribly often because...
I thought I liked him quite a bit. He was very kind.
I did like mocking him and upstaging him at every possible moment.
And he approached the group of you, lute slung over his shoulders, always standing very proud, tiny pointed goatee, forward proudly, and approached Filippo directly to thank you, perhaps, but to extend to you as well one offer before you on your road. Now, Filippo, my good dwarf, you have done some excellent work, and I hope that in your time here you've had some opportunity to, well, take some sort of a shine to learning of some sorts, possibly some melodies, some counteractions, some proper performative techniques, selling yourself, really. It's something that I take great pride in. Those who come through our humble town of Veterans Folly, especially those more attuned to the arts, leave grander somehow, leaving prepared to make their mark upon history, society, the arts, culture itself even. But I must apologize, my good friend, because I have not extended to you all that I could. Because I have terrible news, I'm afraid. Terrible.
You're
Terrible
going to
news.
sing?
Not positive how you arrive at that conclusion. Perhaps an attempt at humor, then. We could work on that one as well. Have me more time, but I know you must leave. But before you do, the caravan's not set to hit the roads until later this afternoon, this evening even. I would ask you a favor. You see, Etrin's Folly has faced much more pressing problems than these pittances that you've been dealt with. These random, strange, unrelated events. Something much more severe. It's been lacking proper music. Proper entertainment. You've seen it. The shine in people's eyes, the sparkle dulled. What is the purpose even of living if they cannot be enriched by such performative acts? You see, Filippo, I've lost my muse.
I'm sorry, what?
You understand the severity.
Uh,
This is no joke. This is
that-
no laughing matter.
That can happen?
I was equally troubled. I had tried my hardest to work through this horrible hole, but I've been unable to put myself into my music. I can't see myself in my art. It's hollow. And what I've put forth to you, Filippo, what impressions I've hoped to leave you with, this enrichment upon your life you could travel outwards with, it's not anything near what it could have been. Because my own performance, it's been lackluster. I need your aid.
Well, if it is true, and you were once a bard of enough caliber to attract a true muse, then I am bound to help you.
This muse was like nothing I'd ever seen. Beautiful, beyond compare, beyond description even. My art is my life, and even my words failed to describe the inspiration that poured forth. It was a connection that inspired me, and now I've been stuck writing feeble limericks and weak poetry by puddles in the road, hoping to find some semblance of this art. But, yes, and with much more flourish and exploration, Flonk went on to explain to you that his muse he had lost not far from here. Some place he had traveled out into nature, into the woods, into the wilderness, seeking further inspiration, when he had been set upon by a strange creature. A lizard of some kind. Dark, big red fur, massive fangs. He didn't stick around very long to take a good look at it, honestly. He turned around and ran the other direction. And even as he did, perhaps inspiration found, it felt as if a dream, as if he was running in slow motion, barely able to make progress. But fortunately, the lizard did not seem to pursue. But in his haste, he had lost his muse. Dropped it in his panic.
You dropped your muse.
Well, it was my muse of my life. The moment's hard to recall. It was It was so tense. Life or death. In the blink of an eye. The verge of an instant, that beast could have been upon me. I had to run. And
I've been there.
the Muse was lost. So, Filippo, you understand the gravity of the situation, I understand. You and your friends, you have some time, and you clearly seem surprisingly capable. Spectacularly capable, as it seems. Especially that one. With all of the armor and the large weapon.
Yes.
Does help.
And it may very well help in the case of, well, a gigantic lizard stalking through the woods. Seems like something that could, well, you could be trusted upon.
So these muses are things you can actually lose and drop? I always thought there was like something more esoteric, like a beautiful sunset or the spirit of compassion.
No, Marn. Your muse is something far more important than that. If you are a true bard, a bard who draws upon the magic of the world, of these creatures, we don't even necessarily know what they are, and every bard's muse is different, but we all have one.
So, but
mine.
it's droppable.
A gentle caress almost in my hand, the weight near negligible, the visage remarkable, inspiring, magnificent, epic even, the things of legends. Without it, I'm lost.
I'm not gonna drop you. Unless I have to throw you, then it has to work.
The fact that I have 2 muses, does this mean I'm twice as bard?
Can you drop either one?
I don't plan on dropping either. That's just silly.
So it's possible? Like, is it like a lucky rock or something? Or
It's not a lucky rock. It's, for me, my muse appears as the North Star, except...
So now that seems much more muse-like. I don't know how you would drop it.
It doesn't always appear in the north, though. It appears wherever my muse thinks I should go.
So it's in the woods.
It is. I can give you direction, a heading, general path that I had traveled, but as we told, I was making no real mark of my progress. I was wandering, searching for inspiration, seeking for nature to speak to me, guidance from above, on high.
So if we see a lizard with really big fangs,
So I assume you just kill it, and hopefully my muse will be nearby.
that means we're in the right area then, yes?
Probably yes. See, this is exactly the kind of resourcefulness I've come to you for. Your ability to put these things together so quickly, like a proper detective, like our own sheriff.
Please, let's not.
He'd lock the lizard up in his basement.
That would be very effective.
It worked for Fennec.
And that's very true.
He didn't, though, actually. He didn't confess or anything. He didn't do anything.
I know, but he's still an idiot, and it still held him pretty good.
Yeah, there is that.
So, really, with nothing better to do in this afternoon, and so anywhere on the entire spectrum from the understanding of a similarly natured bard to really just sheer curiosity as to just why the hell not. With only one dropped microphone, the group of you headed off towards the woods to find what it was that Flonk had lost.
I'll bet
Aside
it's a
from
she.
his mind.
I'm still on Lucky Rock.
Now, you had traveled some way through the forest around Etrin's Folly, a decent amount in your past few days here, in your explorations and, well, your other adventures, which we're not going to go into any particular detail on, because there's no reason to go ahead and talk about the Fall of Plaguestone in case you guys want to run it yourself. And besides, we already did all of that. That's the past. But we are going the opposite direction now. Flonk sending you over almost towards the southwest, away from Etrin's Folly. A little more towards the direction your caravan would have been headed in the first place, but off into much denser thickets. And as you travel off and around, away from all of these strange scars to the land you dealt with previously, the forest does the opposite. It only gets thicker and denser. But somehow, as you travel, the air itself seems to get thicker and heavier. Could be a fog. It's not terribly uncommon up in these parts. Etrin's Folly, of course, is a decent elevation and, well, holds these things fairly well. But it had seemed a perfectly normal day otherwise. And at a certain point, deep within this woods, almost the very light of the sun barely filtering through the trees above you, you start to wonder, what exactly are we looking for?
Well, we're looking for a green lizard with big fangs.
I thought it was red.
A
It
red
was red.
lizard. A
And-
red. Okay, yeah. A
yes.
red lizard with big fangs.
Thought I had red
Who-
frill.
Okay. with red
Perhaps
frill also.
being ridden by a lovely ghost-like lady.
And hopefully there's a lucky rock nearby.
I still bet it's a shoe.
A shoe. I was thinking more like a necklace.
Have you seen these feet?
Your feet?
I have to have shoes.
He has
Why
a
don't
point.
you have shoes?
I experiment. I have to know my acid works.
You should cobble them together.
Is that a pun?
Well, I should hope so. If it's not, then I don't know my business.
I'm amazed.
Just wait. I'm only starting.
Oh, goodness.
So as you traverse through this forest here, some scant few miles away from Etrin's Folly itself, but certainly heading into solidly trackless forest. What are we all doing? We transition over to exploration mode here. Rogish,
I don't honestly know what we're looking for.
what are we doing? I don't know. That's
I'm gonna go with scouting.
you're just. You know, there's a lizard. You know one
I'm
thing
looking
about the
for
general
a
direction
lizard
you go in.
somewhere.
Apparently, there was a lizard of some kind. A particularly large and toothy lizard, and don't want it to get the best of you. Fuse?
Sneaking so I don't get eaten.
Well played.
And very small and fairly easy to hide here, as the canopy becomes so thick that it is much dimmer throughout the forest. Basically, anything can be used as a hiding place for a goblin as small as yourself. But you, Adolfo.
I'm gonna be searching for anything that looks remotely like a muse.
What does a muse look like exactly?
Well, it could be a necklace, a shoe, or a rock.
But there's definitely a lizard involved.
Those are the three options we've figured out so far. All right, Martin.
Well, I'm definitely on the rock camp, so I'm going to be searching specifically for that rock, but also for signs of that lizard, maybe tracks or something like that, so I'll be searching as well.
The forest is strewn about with plenty of rocks. It's just difficult to tell which ones in particular may be, lucky or pets or muses of any kind. You'll keep an eye out just in case. And Filippo.
Since I am literally the only one who seems to know what we're actually looking for, I'm going to be recalling knowledge.
Thinking your hardest, trying to think back. And
is
you
a
have several muses yourself, so trying to put together what exactly it could be that inspires Flonk. So, and how you could find such a thing.
Perhaps a giant floating goatee.
Awesome talent.
As you pass through these woods, why don't the two of you that are seeking here, Delpha and Marn, go ahead and give me some perception checks.
I am also doing that.
Oh, you were seeking
No,
you're
you're
I thought you were scouting.
That
I
means
meant
we
to-
get +1 when
I'll
you...
just scout. I meant
Yeah.
to say searching, but scouting's fine.
Oh. You can swap if you want to swap. But
No,
just
just
scouting
scouting.
was the thing that you said.
19.
27.
Okay. What is your perception modifier?
Plus 9.
Oh, that's pretty good. Fair
Because I
enough.
boosted, because I'm an expert, because I'm a fighter, and I boosted
Oh,
the
right.
wisdom.
Fighter actually gets really good perception scaling now. I keep forgetting about that. So, as you are walking along, Adolfo looking for some kinds of shoes or necklaces.
Or a
Marn
rock.
looking very particularly at the rocks.
Because I want to win. We have a bet. We didn't put any money on it, but we totally have a bet.
You come upon a faint track. Now, out here, this is beyond and this is the opposite direction, really, of any hunters throughout Etrin's Folly that would go, and there aren't a whole lot of people, really, to go out in hunting parties anyway. They basically kind of just farm turnips and do their own thing. And most of the hunting is better up on the other side, where the woods are thinner and lighter, and there are more various glades where it's easier to track down these animals in this game. And as you trek further into this strange, foreboding wood, kind of start to understand why nobody comes out here. But someone did. The tracks are relatively faint. It looks like they passed through between a week and a month ago. And there is a single set of them that came through in what looks like fairly soft, pointed shoes. Certainly not marching in boots of any kind.
Oh, this looks promising. Slight soft shoes, slight tracks, only going one way. We should probably follow them. These might be Flonk's. Hopefully his muse wasn't particularly edible, so the lizard didn't gulp it down.
Nothing rhymes with flonk.
Stonk.
It's not a word.
Flonk.
Hey.
It's a good word. Ooh. We're getting somewhere now.
So, as Marn notes this faint trail, I don't know if you're particularly adept at tracking here.
I'm pretty good at living in the wilderness by myself until I can get out of the war zone that my homeland turned into. So actually, my survival's halfway decent.
Oh, fair enough. Well, then you could certainly attempt to track them yourself with a survival check here. But they are fairly faint.
Ooh, natural 20.
Natural
Yeah.
20,
Oh,
27
Yep, all right,
total.
well, I guess, forget what I was saying. Martin's great at this, actually. Not wrong. So with relative ease, actually, you are able to follow this set of footprints along as they traveled through this forest.
Flonk
And-
just like breaks off flowers and pretty leaves as he goes through the forest, so it's really easy.
It's not a particularly dense forest. There's not much for undergrowth. The trees themselves are fairly thick together, but it's easy enough going. Almost oddly easy to make your way through for how thick the trunks of the forest actually are. But as you travel through, just very easily keeping this track, the light starts to become dim enough. You're actually going to need some kind of a proper light source to be able to keep a view of these footprints in the ground.
I've got something just for this for you that can't see in the dark. And I'll reach in down into my apron and pull out an ever-burning torch. Hee
That's useful.
That's good, or we could. I'll wave a hand and cast light
With a hand on yourself or
on myself.
on yourself. Okay.
Well, I like your torch.
Hey.
I'm also gonna go on ahead and the sun.
Oh yeah, I remember now.
Hi, Feeks.
I'll also pull out an ever-burning torch.
I've got a lot of light sources
I will
everywhere.
also cast light then.
Okay, so everybody has lights now.
Uh-huh.
It's
If
nice.
everyone
and,
has lights, no one
nice
has
and
lights.
bright for literally everybody.
That is not, in fact, how it works.
Yeah, I don't know if that necessarily applies in this situation. But we'll
I'm
give
with
it
you
to
on this one.
You follow these tracks, Marn leading the way, again, relatively easily. Some plethora of torches and glowing handprints upon each of you as you travel. Before, not so much a clearing as almost a subtle break in the trees gives way. And just maybe a couple dozen feet in front of you, you actually see what appears to be a small hut, a home of some kind. Forged of fairly simple wood, just logs and planks standing up out of the ground, maybe about 40 feet across, with a mostly flat roof and largely featureless as far as windows or doors are concerned. However, there does seem to be a single porch, almost, in the side facing you, a half circle of gray flagstones around the only thing breaking the plank and log visage of this building. What looks like a flat rectangular stone slab, approximately the size of the door, of a door, but no visible handle or hinges or anything. As you approach this odd building out here, Marn, tracking these footprints, can see that near the porch there is a second set. It seems to be similarly human, but same weight, same general size, but lacking the bare feet, lacking the sole imprints and the pointed toes of the track you've been following so far. You also notice that not far before this porch, the track that you were following, immediately leaving an impression in the dirt, skidded to one side and bolted in an almost random direction, vaguely towards back where you came from.
Yeah, well, it seems this is as far as Flonk got before he decided to make himself scarce. So it's probably around here where that lizard popped up.
Oh. Isn't there a witch who supposedly lives out here?
It was like decades ago. And I think they arrested her for starting the plague and hung her. So probably not anymore.
Well, it might be haunted then.
Or it could be an old man in there who will grant us 3 wishes, and Flonk wished for a lizard, and then was unable to make his last 2 wishes.
I really hope it's not haunted. I don't like spooky things.
I don't like it haunted either. That would be terrible.
You can't blow them up.
That doesn't have a handle.
What if we knocked?
Well,
Melt
I
it.
vote for knocking.
well, wait, before we start knocking down doors, I mean, let's just look around. Is any sign of a dropped Muse
Oh, that's
hereabouts?
true, actually.
Looking around the ground around you, there is no visible sign of a dropped Muse, no. Nothing clearly seems to have been left in the ground. But if you want to make me a perception check, you'll get a little bonus because you can follow his track so easily, but Adelphi, you're nearby too, and you're still seeking, so you can roll one as well.
I did not see what that was.
It was a 14.
14? Okay. 23.
And not very good. 15.
You can see near where these feet turned tail and ran, there was a little bit of scrabbling. He did not terribly effectively turn around. It looks like he flailed around a bit in complete blind panic, jumped at least about 3 feet, and then bolted the other direction.
Someone playing bongos while he was in the air.
Nearby, you can see a small mar in the ground, where it looks like something relatively thin, maybe only about an inch or 2 around.
About the shape of a lucky rock.
Let's think of the shape of a shaft of some kind, kind of thudded almost straight down into the soft earth here, landing and planting itself. But it has since clearly been picked up and removed.
Like a staff?
Possibly. It'd be a fairly thin staff, but it could be. More concerningly, looking around there and around the trunks of the trees to your right off to the east, there are some hefty gouges in a few sets of scratch marks, indicating uncomfortably large clawed hands or paws.
Well, certainly signs of that lizard thing around here. But we should probably be careful. Unfortunately, it looks like whatever he dropped landed over here and has since been picked up or taken away. I guess we could try the shack over there.
Any new bets on what we think it is?
A long rock.
A long rock. I like that. I like that. I like the long rock.
It could also be a stick.
I'm going to go with a banner with his name across it.
I'm changing from shoe to staff.
Okay, okay.
I feel like I got the long rock. You and me. Long rock.
So, Marna, did you want to approach the door here?
I would like to approach the door.
Stepping forward and looking up to this, it's a slab of light gray stone, lighter than the flagstones beneath you, but one unbroken rock. It's perfectly angular around its edges, a perfect rectangle, set exactly into the wooden walls of this building, and appears to be almost completely featureless, save for one small circular impression, maybe about 1.5 inches across, near its center.
Is this like a keyhole or something, or is it just like a dimple in
just
the
a
rock?
Yeah, it's just a dimple. It's maybe like a 1/4 inch deep. It's not like a slit or a hole through it. It's just a small impression.
Well, the reason not be hospitable, I guess. Take my halberd and just ram the butt of the halberd against the stone to try to knock.
It lets loose a pretty deep, rolling echo through the woods around you as the haft of your halberd slams against the door. There's no apparent response.
Might be no one's home.
Maybe, yeah, maybe not.
Well, let's see if we can't get it open then. I don't see how it moves.
You said there was a dimple over here.
Yeah, right here.
Let me see. I'll use my mage hand to feel around for it. Just because in case there is something there, I don't want to get blown up.
And it's a fairly severe cut. It's cut straight at right angles into the doorway, so it's not like just a smooth kind of dip. It is more like a slot.
Maybe like for a
set into
key?
the door. But it is narrow. It doesn't look like it goes anywhere. It's not a hole. You can see the back of it, and there's no mechanism you can see through which it could turn or anything.
Maybe it's a strange mechanism and I can figure it out. I've got lore engineering.
If you want to throw me a lore engineering and think real hard.
I'm gonna go up to the door. Now what kind of genius would do this? "14.
The 14 none of this looks like it has any kind of moving parts whatsoever.
Nope, it's a rock.
Right, well, in
The
that
door
case,
itself doesn't even appear to have hinges or anything, and you can see, even at the base of the door, that this is an independent piece of stone. So it couldn't even theoretically pivot into the ground or anything. It's just set here.
let's just throw my shoulder against it and see if I can't just
well,
push it in.
Well, maybe there's a back door.
Well, one way or another, we're making a door here. Let me help you,
Well,
Marn.
if there's another door, then maybe we can just go in the other door.
Well, we're clearly meant to come in this way.
Oh, okay.
If we can't get in this way, we can look around the back side. But I mean, it would be rude to ignore this very obvious entryway.
Would you rather the robbers break in your front door or go around to the back door, Adelpha?
Oh, well, I guess if this is such an obvious front door, why doesn't it have a handle?
Yeah, perhaps it does have a handle, and it's an invisible handle. It was stolen along with the Muse.
Oh, actually, that's a good point. Okay, good. Okay. Point made.
I guess as long as we're in agreement.
Yeah, so
Good.
I'll assist with helping to push this open.
So Marn's gonna pull back, Rolgi stepping forward to help him out here. As he slams into the door with all of his weight. So give me an athletics check to aid him.
That's exactly a 20.
So you'll get a +2 on your athletics check to try and just bash his door open.
That's going to be a 23.
With a 23, your armored pauldron just crashes into the stone here. Absolutely no give whatsoever. Does not budge, does not even shudder. You just slam into a solid stone slab.
Right, so back door you said, Adelpha?
I think we should try and see if there's a back door.
That sounds reasonable. That sounds reasonable.
Now it looks like the trees around the western side of the house are almost up against the building fairly thick, but there does appear to be a little bit of a visible pathway around to the eastern side here. In fact, you can see that what looks like a well at the edge of your light here, and now nearly completely darkened forest.
I swear, if this is another one of those, open this front door and get shot with another stupid crossbow.
There's a harpoon.
Harpoon launcher, sorry.
Just like a crossbow, but for whales.
Well, if there is, it's just as well.
Oh, it's not just as well.
It could be.
What does that even mean?
There's a well
Yes.
Okay. As you come around the eastern side of the building here, these signs, these scratch marks, the obvious indication of whatever this big creature is, becomes just that much more obvious. The grounds out here to the eastern side of the house appear to be fairly regularly passed through by whatever or however many of these creatures there are. And they almost seem to use the bark of some of these trees like scratch posts. You can see the two trunks in front of you, those that look a little different on the map there, have had the bark almost entirely stripped away from the bottom about 7 feet of the tree.
Oh my gosh. these
The
things are
wood
massive.
itself having thousands of these gouges vertically all up and down the trunk.
I'm gonna take that ever-burning torch and just put it in my belt and just double haft my halberd there.
Okay. I don't know if you're legally allowed to carry a torch in your belt, but I'll give it to you.
I mean, if it was real fire...
If it was real fire, yeah,
would
it is
cause
not
some
actual
problems.
fire, so it's not. You can just put it right up against your cuirass there, and it can be pretty fine. So as you move up around this well here, Marn in the front line,
I'll be following behind him with my long spear out.
you have your spear in your hands. You can go ahead and take your various minis there. I don't have special fancy minis for you guys, so for the actual miniatures, we're just going to use the same minis we used for Age of Ashes. These took making neat minis and painting them is a large progress. Go ahead and put them wherever you want to be. You're not like put them where you want to be, not where they currently are on the map, and then let me also move the map over here. So do it again. Do it again. The pile. Marn and Adelpha, go ahead and give me perception checks as you come around.
Oh no, I got a nat 1.
That's an 18.
That is actual thunder. That is not part of the show. Please don't knock our power out. Thank
God.
you. I appreciate it, nature. Thanks for the assist. Good atmosphere.
It was a dark and stormy night.
That was
in the
very
woods.
loud. Marn,
18.
Adelpha?
Nat 1.
Okay, so Adelpha in the back here is.
I can't
not
see
really-
anything.
Yeah, you
Staring
can't see.
lovingly into Filippo's face and
Well,
can't pay attention to anything
He's
else.
very charming.
Seems accurate. Marn,
Clink, clink.
as you're moving forward here towards the front, and as you get up past this well, Rolgish behind you, and the rest of the party at a little bit more of a distance, moving along into this eastern area to come around the side of the building and see if there's anything else. You can see the entire eastern face of this hut now, going about 20-25 feet back. Does not appear to bear any doors or windows whatsoever. But it's almost hard for you to look that way, with all of the signs of something bad being generally the other direction. And two-handing your halberd here, you would be the first to notice a strange serpentile creature stalking through the trees about 20 feet away.
Aha.
I mean, I guess you could call the thing a lizard. It seems like a reptile of some kind, though it doesn't really bear scales. Just dark flesh drawn taut over a very visible skeleton, ribs showing all the way down. But it does have a fairly bright red ridge running down its back.
Huh.
Only a couple inches high, almost like a dinosaur.
Huh.
And as you look at this animal, whatever it is, seeing you see it, it opens its mouth, a maw completely full of rows of long, pointed fangs, with a hiss.
Huh.
And whatever it is, it doesn't seem super happy that you're here. Take this token,
Ooh.
comrades, and I also,
matches.
thanks to Paizo's neat little bestiary cards here,
Hey, that's
some
there it
arts.
is.
Ooh, he's so pretty.
for everyone to
looks
look
That's
at.
terrifying.
I
Yeah.
love
It
him.
was a little puppy.
He's so cute.
Why don't you all roll me some initiative? You'll get a +1 because Rolgish is scouting here near the front line.
It's okay. It's okay if I'm last.
Oh.
You do get one reroll.
You have 1 hero point.
No, not now.
Maybe later.
All right, Marn, what do we got?
I have
save
a
you.
25.
I feel like that's gonna be pretty at the top here. Filippo?
I have a 26.
I am wrong. I once again underestimate player initiative. Adelpha.
12?
So I'll put you over here. You can just sit over there for the time being. Rolgish.
27. I'm joking, I got a 22.
I was like, wow. Surprising. And Fuse.
15.
15. Now we got 2 very striated groups here. While this little creature itself, this strange lizard, is going to be coming in with a 19.
It's because we're in the back.
We can't see anything. We're also both very short.
Be right
I love the
here
clack.
in
Yeah.
the middle. Filippo, you're up first.
Filippo was recalling knowledge, and,
Oh, that is true. What is your nature, good sir?
well, I'm a bard, and I'm very pleasant.
Okay, so
it's
-4, you say?
It's +2.
With a +2, looking at this thing, it looks like a big angry lizard. You're not particularly well trained in nature and natural beasts, and this does not look familiar to you. Looks mad though.
Well, in that case, Filippo will pull what looks like a magical quill from out of the air, and he will start to perform a ballad, and he will put off inspire courage with lingering composition.
Yeah, and you gotta make a perform check to make
Yep,
the limbering composition work,
I
right?
do.
Gotta remember how these characters work. It's been a minute.
I'm going to hand you that reroll.
Oh, the first hero point down.
That is much better. That is going to be a 20.
And you are 3rd level, so a 20 will certainly succeed. You won't feel this familiar inspiration, and it will last for some turns. 3, I believe.
And remind me what it does again.
+1 to hit rolls.
+1 to attack.
Attack. And not AC, I remember
It's
that.
attack,
It's
save,
attack,
and,
saves
saves.
against fear.
and damage?
And damage.
Attacks, damage, and saves against
Yeah.
fear.
Okay.
I do like the music.
And then I will shield.
Throwing up a quick defensive ward in front of yourself. Marn in the front here.
Okay. So I
Big lizard.
see some trouble ahead of us. as
Big
my
elbow.
Van Brace sends dice flying.
It's like a shovel.
So Marn's going to advance cautiously, kind of eyeing this thing, trying to keep an eye out for any others that might pop up. And I'm going to stop about 15 feet away.
Okay.
Flip that halberd over and go for a long lunging strike, lashing out at it with my
Okay.
lunge ability.
Ooh, right, he has this. He's got the big reach. A little behind the tree here, but go ahead and give me an attack roll.
That is a 19.
With a 19, you lash out, but at this distance and with it still kind of behind the tree, it darts back away from you. This wild animal here, pretty reactive and pretty skittish, even as it readies to come forward.
All right, I'll take a second attack.
Oh, lunge doesn't add actions, that's right.
It's only one action, but that's going to be even less. That's only a 17. So
Two quick jabs out towards it. Roll geese.
this is going to be a great.
Why must
And
we
this
go
is
through that?
if
This is
anyone
gonna be a great
wanted a
session.
visual demonstration of an armor check penalty. That's just what it is.
Oh,
This is an armor check penalty to a
That
thievery.
was-
With fingerless
Aggressive.
gloves, I just can't. It's just very
It's okay.
difficult.
We're
This is even like this is like scale mail at best. Like,
We're keeping
This is
track
a
of the
very confined
mishaps.
space, though.
It is. But
That was impressively aggressive.
Thank you.
roll geese.
I'm going to, since Filippo didn't have a clue what this is, I'm going to take an attempt, see if I've recognized it with a +6.
Alright, you stop and reflect for a moment, looking at this thing as Marn moves his light closer. And, with a little better light here, you, unfortunately, know what this creature is. This reptile out ahead of you appears to be a basilisk. And that mouth full of teeth is the least of your concerns. These creatures kill with only a glance, as merely looking into their eyes is enough to turn a man to stone.
ignorance is bliss.
Good news, though, that is salvageable. Should the worst befall one of your party members, all you need do is coat them with the blood of the dead basilisk.
Oh, that's very pleasant.
And has to be a full coat. The same biology that inflicts this petrification has the ability to reverse it as well. I get 2 actions left.
I'm a little spooked now.
You're like, "Try- nope, no, no.
Oh God, it starts with a B.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
We're dead.
Oh, I knew what this was as soon as this started. Oh,
Sure
boy.
does start with a B.
I'm going to move up to behind this tree.
No, Roar, don't do it.
And to everybody, it's a basilisk. Close your eyes, don't look at it. Just, we have to kill it. It'll turn us all to stone.
Wait, what?
Is that a metaphor?
Not at all. And I'm going to, while still holding the long spear, take my dragon stance and get ready for my inevitable combat with this thing.
As this thing lurks behind the tree, almost as Martin calls out, "What?" This basilisk looks up, and you feel yourself slow. Your reactions deadening, your very movement as you make these strikes halting. Make me a fortitude save.
Ooh, fortitude save. It's a 17. I think I'm gonna give you this hero point.
I will take that. Mimic Hungers. Thank you, sir.
That's slightly better. That is a 21. 21. Don't get inspired
Only
for this.
on fear saves. With a 21, as you feel this start to take hold of you, perhaps the sheer panic of Rolgeish's warning is enough to fortify you at least for the moment. And this creature is going to dart almost around you to this other nearby tree, well within your reach.
Let's take a swing at it. Attack of opportunity. Oh, it's only a 2 though, so that's going to be a 13.
We're focused on not turning into a statue right at the moment. Fuse.
All right then. So, what's a basilisk?
An angry lizard. Blow it up.
All right then. I'm gonna have it so I know that lizards don't like cold because I put ice cubes over on a lizard once and it didn't like it. So, I'm gonna reach into my pouch with Quick Bomber. I'm gonna pull out an acid of, or sorry, not an acid,
An
a
acid
vial
of cold.
A vial of moderate frost, and I'm gonna move somewhere where I can get in range of it. Hey, I'm gonna come over to the big strong green man. That's good. Yeah. And then I'm gonna. If I can pick it up, there we go. So I get +1 to this on top of because you're good music. No. Well, I'll take it.
We got the most difficult class.
Right, so that's gonna be a 27.
A 27 is absolutely gonna hit us. This thing is focused on Marn here, moving around through the trees. This flask connects.
That's right, you focus on the big things and not the little snack. So then, that does 2d6. So it'll take 4 cold damage. It'll take 2. It'll also do 2 splash in the area,
So it takes those 2, so it's gonna take 6 total.
and then it gets a -10 penalty to its speed.
Oh yeah, no save. He's just slower.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean he is cold-blooded, so that makes sense to me.
And as a pot of Quick Bomber, I can interact and toss, so that's all 1 action. My movement's 1. Can I hide behind him?
Yeah. Not really behind him because the lizard's not there. Someone should probably move the
Yeah, you can
lizard.
just hide behind the
The
well.
lizard's over there.
Well, I moved over to you because you're big.
Oh, you didn't quite put yourself behind.
Oh, okay, that's what I was trying to do.
We'll say you moved up slightly further behind him, and then yeah, I'll let you try and take cover behind Rolgish here. Sure, why not?
All right, you're big. You can cover me.
Adelpha. And as it looks over,
11 and 13.
That's not very high.
as it
yeah.
looks past Martin now, seeing the rest of the group, it turns its gaze across the party, and all of you feel a bit of a freeze as your muscles almost twitch a bit, just as it runs its eyes across you in an instant.
Scary snake, scary snake, scary snake. I'm going to
Not feet,
run
it's not snake.
close enough. I'm going to also run behind Rolgish. Further, Rolgish is a nice big guy. I like it.
Your speed 25, right? He's slower?
It's speed 25 because I don't have any armor penalties.
Well, I wasn't sure if dwarves were 20 inherently.
Oh.
Because I think they might be. I think it might take you 2 moves to get behind Rolgish.
Okay, I will take 2 moves. If I'm doing 2 moves anyways, I will get on the backside of that stump over there.
Alright.
And then
Dive for cover.
and then I'm going to, just in case, also make sure that this basilisk is what I know about this basilisk. Just in case. I have a +9 nature.
+9. Well, this doesn't actually looks kind of similar to a basilisk, but this seems to be actually a different kind of riddle. This is I think it is a Basidiron, is how the word is said, which is almost like a smaller sort of predatory, like proto-dinosaur kind of thing. They hunt like jungle cats, and they look very similar to basilisks. Almost kind of a thing that they use as a tactic to kind of blend in and make bigger predators not come after them. But this thing's threat is not so much looking at you as it is its spit. Very acidic, very splashy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to dissuade anybody from not looking it in the eye because I'm not absolutely sure. I'm just going to also say that it could also spit at us. So keep that in mind.
God, what else does this thing do?
Filippo.
I hope it doesn't sing. Marn, lift your blade, and I will call forth the magic of my muse to embolden you. And he'll again wave his quill and bless your weapon and make it magical.
Oh. Was this magic weapon?
Yep.
That's not touch. That's dope.
I think it is touch.
You have
I think
to
it- I
touch
think
the
it's-
weapon.
Yeah.
It's touch.
It's touch.
You have reach,
Yeah,
you have reach
so-
spell, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can just do it as we
Yeah, I'm just gonna reach.
Boom.
Boom.
I'm so
But that would
glad
make
your
it 3
muse
actions
isn't
to
a lucky rock.
respell it, because it's 2
That's fine.
actions to cast it, and the third to use the meta magic.
That's okay.
And Marn, as you feel this power well through you here, now inspired and with a magic weapon. One is an item bonus, one is a status, so you do get both.
Ooh. All right. Well, goodness, I can't turn that down then. Let's go ahead then. So it's a spitty and it's a glary and it also bites things. Let's just go ahead it seems pretty dodgy, so I'm gonna go ahead and just try for some quick jabs to try to slow it down.
You also get +1, I think. From
I don't
magic
think with a
weapon.
3 on the die that's gonna matter. To the dice jail with you.
Ban. No,
Another,
that show's not on camera.
another week in the hole. Put it here.
This one's good.
No, I got this one. This one works.
Got a feeling. Got
Got a feeling on this one.
We
So
hope.
that was a 3. So on the off chance, for some reason, this happens to hit, that's a 15, 16.
16 is not going to hit. No,
I
this
think
thing's
so.
quite dodgy, and it's looking generally your direction.
So that's 6, 17, 18. 18.
It's pretty, it's pretty nimble. It seems to be hard for you to land a beat on it. Much easier for an explosion, but
Goodness gracious. Just in case, I'm going to avert my gaze.
fair enough. And with averting your gaze, which I guess I should do as a reminder to everybody here if you are concerned about that, that is a basic action that anybody can take. And averting your gaze is going to give you a +2 to any saves against any kind of visual abilities.
Okay.
It is 1 action, and it's you don't have to worry about the first edition stuff where it's like 50% miss chance or whatever. It's just 1 action, you get a +2 against visual effects. It's not just gazes either. It's literally any visual related spell.
Like
Nope.
dancy shiny birds.
Exactly. Now, Rogish, as we come around to you here, as everyone has kind of run behind you and Fuse has drawn a bit of his attention with his bomb, this creature looks over, it glances up towards you, the nearest large target of this cluster, and meets your gaze for a moment. Actually, you should make me a fortitude save.
Ooh.
That's a natural 20 for a 29.
Rogish has no fear.
I was ready. I saw it come and just looked away.
Nope.
Let it just keep going.
Nope.
Looks like good eating.
So, I don't like this thing, but I also have to protect everybody behind me. I'm going to use my fast monk legs to move out behind it to get flanking
Alrighty.
with Marn. And I'm going to deliver a quick flurry of blows, 2 quick knee strikes.
As a pretty large lizard, this thing, even as it's down on all fours, rises up 3.5, almost 4 feet above the ground at the top of its arched frill. Even its shoulders are up at 3 feet, so it's easily in kneeing range.
So
You're not trying to like elbow drop a gnome here or anything.
So the first one is a 20.
Even with a 20, as you come down, circling around this thing.
22, sorry.
The 22 actually will connect.
Fantastic. And that is D10 damage. 4 minimum. All right. So that hits for 4. 5 for performance. And we're going to take the next strike, which is only a +3. Yeah. Which misses because that's a 9 for a total of 15 with the bonuses.
Yeah, 15 is not going to hit. You get its attention with the first
Yeah.
strike.
But it does need to make a fortitude save because I have stunning fist.
Ooh, right, because you only have to hit once.
It is really pretty.
Fortitude save is going to be a 21.
That passes. It is not stunned. And using my fast monk legs, we're going to return right back to covering my allies.
Runs in, drops 2 quick kicks, runs away. So as you come in and drop these hits, it's being harried here by Marn, who is glancing around at the rest of you. It does seem to be the most concerned about as well. You're in here striking a whole bunch.
Very intimidating.
Very intimidating. A lot of flurries of flashing steel with a flickering torchlight. And this monk running around doing things bumped him once, but he doesn't look nearly as aggressive as you. As you're right in front of it, it's going to affix its eyes back at you as you try to look away.
No.
So give a fortitude save with your +2.
That's gonna be pretty good. 25.
25, you're still going to be solid.
No, not solid. That's the point.
Oh,
And as you try to look away, this thing staring right up into you, still hissing, it's going to step forward around the tree, closing the gap.
It's impolite to stare.
And as it looks around, views for the source of this frosty blast, its eyes fall to you. With a quick glance, I need you to make me a fortitude save.
Oh no.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just it just
Okay,
has
okay.
10
It's not
less
slowed,
movement
it
speed.
just has
Yeah,
less
Oh, okay.
it's hindered.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's gonna be a 22.
22 will do it.
That's why I wear my goggles.
Yeah. The goggles, they do something.
All right, so then, so that's right. It's my turn. Yeah.
Like at the start of your turn.
It's the start of my turn. Okay. All right, then. So, thank you for covering. That looks dangerous. Marn, I'm sorry. And gonna
I've been here before.
reach in and pull out a flask of acid
All right.
and toss.
Oh boy.
Would you like me to put the dice in your mitten?
That would be good, yeah. All right, so here we go with a roll. That's gonna be my re-roll.
There's
natural-
no way you're picking
please.
that coin up off the tube.
Nope.
Natural 1, actually, it misses me too, so it's not entirely a bad thing.
Yeah. That's great for Marn.
Right, so we're trying again.
0 points for every love here.
Again?
I think this is going in here.
I think that's going in the jail.
Bye, dice.
Prison.
So that just misses them both. Doesn't even do splash.
Yeah, that just flies completely wide.
Woo!
Marn just kind of cringes, then it just kind of goes into the bushes.
Huh, that went a little farther than I thought it would.
You really didn't want to hit you, so erring on the side of caution, perhaps too cautious.
Perhaps too cautious. Yeah, I'm gonna move back over here. I don't like it. No. And I'm just gonna. Ah, no, it's
Oh, I didn't switch the table camera fast enough. The minute got stuck on his glove.
All right, so I'm gonna get stuck to the back, and I'm gonna stay. Oh, but actually, I'm gonna stick to you then. Sticking to the back. Thank you.
Train of people hiding behind this tree, Adelpha.
Still leaves you with 1 action, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, you saw. Oh, is he taking cover? I read that
I'm
he's
taking cover. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna take
Adelpha.
cover.
Okay. Well, I guess I will throw. I'm going to try and daze it out of. Not super hard trying to distract it from Martin, but only slightly. So I'm going to throw a daze at it and see if I can't just kind of confuse it just a little bit.
Okay. And it's a will save you to make.
Yes.
It's going to be a 17.
Okay, so that does not daze 19. Okay, perfect. So he will take. I think it's. Okay, well, I think he's going to take 5.
Got some hot dice in here today. You guys are rolling. Proper Plaguestone fashion. And 1 action left.
And I will also, I'm going to avert my gaze more so than, because I'm trying to distract him, but not
Please
towards
don't
me.
leave. Filippo.
Filippo will close his eyes and start to chant and yell out, "Gormath, I summon thee!" And he'll cast Illusory Creature, and a fire drake will descend from the sky, let out a roar, and blow fire down on this thing.
Sorry, I thought you were asking me for telekinetic strike.
You suck.
Okay. Just throw this at me here.
So he needs to make a will save.
Okie dokie. And this is, I assume, an illusory creature.
It is
It
totally
is.
an illusory creature.
Here, we will use one of these. And this is coming in right behind him?
It's flying down on him right behind him, yeah.
Okay, because it sticks around, right? It's not
Yeah,
going
mhm.
anywhere. All right, let me get you a will save here. It's going to be a 22 total on the will save.
Oh, it passes.
So that will pass. So he will disbelieve it, but he hasn't, I think he hasn't taken any damage yet. So...
Yeah, does he even get the save until...
Do you think you hit him first? and
Oh,
then
I
he
hit
gets
him
the
first
save?
and then he
Yeah.
gets the save? Okay. So yeah, so he will take
I
some
think
damage.
you don't have to roll a hit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it just does damage, and then if he ends up disbelieving it, he recovers from I think half the damage that's done.
Oh, okay. Well, it's 11.
plus 3 is a 14.
Okay. And it leaves you with 1 action left, I believe.
I will shield in case this doesn't work.
Marn again.
Okay, this thing's being a little sticky, so I'm going to step away from it. Can I get a flanking bonus from Fire Drake?
If it hasn't disbelieved it yet, then absolutely, because it currently thinks that is a creature it has to worry about.
I love it. I'm going to go take that flanking bonus. I think, though, as I recall, I have to actually be in the direct opposite.
You would, so you would need
Have to
to
move instead.
rather than step.
Hopefully it doesn't have a reaction. Does it have a reaction?
No, I mean, Roguish ran circles around it earlier and didn't seem to do anything.
That's a good point. So I feel good about that. All right, so I'm going to move out here then. And I haven't even landed a hit on this thing yet, so let's hope perhaps flanked with a magic weapon
And you
and the
still
last
have-
round of inspiration, I can go ahead and make something happen. Do any of those not stack?
I don't think
Circumstance.
Yeah, no, they're all-
Circumstance,
Stats and item,
item,
yeah, so
stats.
3 different types of bonuses. They all stack.
Come on.
Well,
Hey!
it's also the flanking is flat-footed. That's not a bonus to you. That's a penalty to it.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right, so that's, let's see, 29, 30, 31, and it's -2 AC.
31 at the -2 AC is absolutely going to critically strike this
Glorious.
lizard.
I lost a D10 at some point. Could I borrow another?
And
Yes,
with
it's
magic
just a
weapon,
D10,
you get
it's
an
a
extra damage die.
Yep, that's
What
what I'm asking
exactly?
for. that worked perfect.
You
All
get a
right.
mighty strike.
And you
Mighty.
get +1 damage from that.
Alrighty, so that's 11, 12, 12 and 4, 16 times 2, 32 damage.
Holy crap.
Nice.
Okay.
Critical magic weapon.
Over doubled the amount of damage this thing has taken right there. With that mighty strike, it looks pretty weakened.
That was only one action, actually.
That was, yeah, movement strike.
Move and strike. Actually, you know what? Let me avert my gaze.
Roguish.
Yeah, that's right. You better be scared.
All right. It's gotten a pretty good hit. I was tempted to just poke it from where I'm at, but I think I'm going to do the same thing I already did.
Stand right in front of me and get his flanking bonus.
Yep. I'm going to come over, take advantage of that flanking, and we're going to deliver 2 quick knee strikes using Flurry of Blows. That's a 19 plus flanking.
Is that with the +1?
Yes.
19 is going to miss, as it's almost just knocked out of the way by the sheer force that Marn is hitting it with here. Just barely glancing.
That's a 19. With
You're
my bonus.
consistent.
The
Consistency is
19
important.
still misses.
And then,
That's how assurance works, folks.
yeah. Intimidation's its own thing, no penalties, right?
Yeah, you would. It doesn't have the attack trait. It just has, you can only do it once to functionally once in each enemy each combat.
All right, well, we're going to try yelling in the face of this creature.
You're going to take a penalty because it doesn't speak any
Yeah.
languages? Unless you have intimidating glance?
No.
Okay. Well, give me a demoralize check. As you yell at this thing.
21.
21 is not going to do it. You run forward, do a bunch of stuff. None of it seems to be terribly effective.
Just flashy, trying to make it look away from everyone else.
As you run forward and dive in the way and just kick, knee at it a bunch and scream at it, it seems well enough distracted as it looks up at you, not taking the time to avert your gaze, instead of asserting dominance. It's gonna assert right back. Give me a fortitude save.
That's a session reroll with a 6. I don't want to be... Yeah, hero point. I don't want to be turned to stone.
Nobody wants to be a statue today.
Exactly. Into a 9.
That's better. Can you still see? Your goggles look like they're super fucked up.
Mostly.
So that's an 18.
With an 18, as it looks at you, you are going to feel yourself slow down pretty massively. As you almost feel weightless, almost like you're floating. Like you're in a dream, kind of. Your senses somewhat dulled. And you are going to be slowed, as the rest of you see his skin start to become much more matte and dull as this thing looks. It's not just eyes. It does, in fact, also have teeth. And right in front of you, it's going to bite upwards for a 22.
It hits.
And it's going to give you some snips. That mouth full of fangs dealing 8 damage.
Barely actually doing damage.
Flex on it.
I have temporary HP from the ring.
All right, yeah, the Star Wars ring that you would get at the end of the adventure. And with that, Fuse.
All right then. All right, so the cold worked, the acid missed. I'm really sorry. Pull out another flask of acid and just me. So I know you slow down, but can you put one in me mitt? That'll work. Appreciate you. Here we go. Ooh, that's pretty good. That'll be a with the yo bonus and my. That's a 21.
21 is just barely going to miss. It's going to smash against the ground just in front of the creature, still splashing across it and Rolgish, but not doing the primary damage.
Okay, so that means it'll do 1 acid damage.
Rolgish, you're also taking this 1 acid damage.
I'm not quite good at moving you out of the way. But I can move, and that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna scoot this way. And then I'm gonna make sure that my hands are over my goggles.
For your case as well as you can.
Yep.
Adelpha.
I am going to snap another daze at it. I'm going to just. It seemed to work all right last time. And I'm going to just try and distract it again.
18.
Okay. I. Do 5 damage.
It's Plaguestone.
So,
Well-
2 ones.
But an 18 is less than your DC, so.
Yeah,
So it
that's
doesn't
true,
take
sure.
half.
Doesn't
Oh,
So it takes all of it.
Yeah, so a good 5 damage there. And then I am going to, I don't even notice, it doesn't even look like Rolgish has taken any damage. So I'm actually just going to avert my gaze again, but also hide.
And you cast your spell, look down, hiding, trying not to pay any heed to this thing. As the rest of the party, particularly those that are up in the front here, dealing with this basilisk, see that as your spell completes, dealing what may only be 5 damage. Right after biting on Rogish, it lets go and actually kind of just flops over on the ground.
Rolgish, are you poisonous to basilisks?
Apparently.
Oh my goodness.
Just slowly shaking off that sensation.
Oh my gosh, are you okay? You're moving kind of
You all right?
sluggishly there.
Should be fine.
Do we need to like soak you in blood, basilisk blood?
Can I look?
I don't know.
Wait, yeah, it's dead. Apparently, yeah, you're good. You can look now.
Okay.
Oh, you're dismissed. He'll wave his hand and the drake will
I
disappear.
thought you were talking to Fuse.
Be gone, goblin!
You're now invisible. No one can see
Oh
you.
my goodness.
If you reach down to this basilisk here, who has taken some, you barely broke the skin of this thing. It got hit by a couple bombs and kneed a few times, and then mentally incapacitated. So it's not even really bloody.
I did wallop it once really
Oh
well.
yeah, that's right. Never mind. You almost cut it in half. Right, the crit.
I was only flailing about every other time I tried
That's
to hit
true.
it.
I actually literally I had it mentally shelved as you had swung 40 billion times but never actually ended up hitting the
Oh,
thing.
right, the crit.
And
Oh, right.
the 32 damage. Never mind, this thing's been cleaved just about in 2 pieces. So there is plenty of blood. And Rogish, wherever this blood would be on your body, you would physically feel sensation, the numbness go away, that bit of you return.
I suppose I'm gonna give myself a bloodbath.
I'll dump it on you too. Dump.
So as Barn and Rolgish work together to coat him in this basilisk blood,
This is horribly gory, guys.
they're going to do a good enough job at covering him that whatever latent effects of this gaze there may have been seem to have been entirely negated. Additionally, now that you can see it up close and it's not trying to eat you, the thing appears to be wearing a collar.
Oh.
Did we just kill someone's dog?
A fairly basic leather cord wrapped around it and tied with a knot. And at the front of it, in lieu of any kind of a tag or anything, there's a small onyx stone, about exactly the same size as the depression in in the stone slab.
Huh.
Oh,
So
well,
that's
convenient.
It's oh, it was holding the key.
It's the gatekeeper.
It's a guard dog. It's a big guard dog.
Oh, we killed Rex.
But
Well,
is that the Muse?
I don't
maybe.
think it's the Muse.
Oh. Well, good, then the bet's still on.
Yes, that's true. I would have won the bet if it was the Muse, but no, I don't think it is.
It's not long enough.
So then, let's try it in the door. I want to open it.
Oh, it's true. It should be easier than just trying to. Okay, let's give it a shot.
We don't have to look for a back door when
Little
we can
onyx
open it.
stone, almost the perfect hexagonal prism, slits into the depression in the door. And as you press it in, the door itself just kind of goes away. It's weird. It's not as if it slides into the ground or into any side compartment or anything, and it doesn't disappear, it doesn't fade into mist, it doesn't pop out of existence. There's actually nothing exciting about it happens whatsoever. You're looking, and as you press it in and pull your hand back, the door's just not there anymore.
Like
It's
some sort of
just an
illusion magic?
opening.
Well, I mean, I ran into it with my shoulder, so I'm pretty certain it was there at some point.
We're gonna be like a dog that's run into the storm door one too many times. Is it here?
You
Like
can see into the
like
front room
mines.
of this cabin now. A simple but fairly well-appointed waiting room. There is a hearth on the other side of the door, with a fire crackling inside, warmth emanating out from the doorway. Simple oval wooden table, set with what appears to be a plain tin tea set, a pitcher, a few cups, and a dish for sugar, all set together on a tray with several spoons. There's a much overstuffed upholstered chair against the other wall, and several racks of antlers from various beasts mounted up along the inside wall. On the other side, there is a fairly large, full-body mirror standing in a floor stand against the wall, and a simple, dirty, brown rug just inside the threshold.
I would wipe my feet.
It looks oddly cozy and nice.
Don't drink the tea, don't sit in the chair. I've read enough stories and heard enough songs to know that those are bad ideas.
Why?
Is a crooked letter. Well done, Fuse.
So it is. Just walk in, just start kind of wandering around.
So as you walk in, you can see this living room leads two ways. There's another decent little foyer straight through a doorway forward ahead of you, and to your left seems to be a small, equally simple kitchen with several racks of counters across from you. Run one across the floor, with a large basin set into the center of it of smooth, light stone. Another rack of cupboards up above it. There's a dining table in the center of that room, rectangular, surrounded by several fairly simple wooden carved chairs. And in fact, the table even seems to be mostly set. In front of each seat, a placemat with a plate, fork, knife, and another simple tin cup all set around. Straight ahead of you, in the foyer, a massive rug sprawls across the room, what appears to be most of the hide of a slain brown bear, with several more stools and seats around it. One side of the room, bookshelves. The other side of the room, small glass display cases. And you can see the hut appears to be a square. You come in the front, and each of those two rooms look like they lead into another room further on.
This is a curiously well-appointed hut in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere.
I'm gonna go up and touch the chair and some of the other chairs to see if there's any warmth or any sign that somebody had recently been sitting in them, or whether or not it's colder room temperature.
Yeah, the inside of the hut is fairly warm due to the hearth, but touching the seats in this entryway, in this first room, nothing appears to have been recently sat in, although the large overstuffed leather chair does have an almost fairly clear imprint of a butt where someone has very often set themselves, apparently.
Any sign of any staffs or wands or canes or long rocks?
Near the front door, there is a small bucket with what appears to be a few simple umbrellas set in it, as well as a hat stand with a fairly simple cowl and additionally, what looks almost like a simple just hunting cap to keep the sun out of your eyes, but no weapons, no stabs, no evidently magical objects in here.
Well, no sign of that Muse object here.
What's in the display cases?
As you walk forward up into that room, looking through, it looks like a bunch of rather odd knickknacks. One of them just has 2 simple books that look quite old, but neither look particularly interesting. The other one having a small bone scrimshaw of a horse. Its hide intricately carved with all sorts of geometric patterns. It's actually fairly well done. And a massive fang sat next to it. There's no sort of labels or displays for any of these.
Does anything look like it's accumulated a patina of dust?
It all looks fairly well used and well cleaned, actually. Nothing looks to be dusty or unkempt.
Somebody is living here, actively living here.
Someone who has quite good taste.
Indeed. I would feel like bad guests should we disturb someone's home without being invited in.
Well, as much as it certainly seems like it's certainly like a fine, well, aristocratic even type person, let's not forget that this is a hut in the middle of nowhere, guarded by a disappearing stone door, the key of which is tied around the neck of a basilisk who is outside.
Maybe that basilisk is his friend and is very sweet and warm and gives him wonderful licks and sits at his feet.
Let's hope not, because that would make us terrible guests.
I wonder if all of this is an illusion. If the door was an illusion.
My love is not, and that is all you need worry about.
Oh God, what if it's all an illusion? Just gonna take the halberd and just kind of poke a chair.
Your halberd, the blade of your halberd as you poke into it, cuts a little bit into the upholstery. It looks real enough.
Well, so did the stone door, though. The stone door seemed very real.
Huh. I guess I could smash the chair into flinders,
Let's
but it
not.
still wouldn't mean anything.
Can I look at any of the items and see if they have any magical or arcane properties?
Yeah, you have detect magic, right? So I mean, you can absolutely.
I actually do not have detect magic
You have
on this
read
character.
aura.
Yeah.
So you
I
have to check them individually.
I
could
have
definitely-
Arcana too.
You could definitely do that. I mean, you could use read aura, and you have detect magic. I feel
think
like
so,
you're about
yeah.
to say.
Yeah.
Between the two of you, you could certainly go around trying to see if there was any kind of sign of magic or something across any of this. And the whole of the area does seem to have a minor aura of some sort upon it. Interestingly enough, as you watch Fuse plodding around, looking at the display case, seemingly getting bored, moves around to the door to the chamber corner, opposite corner of the hut from where you are. You see him walk through that threshold and walk back in to the kitchen next to you at the same time.
Okay, well, I think it's an illusion of some sort, because that doesn't seem to be natural. So.
Okay, wait a minute.
No.
I'll take the halberd. I'm just gonna poke it through that doorway and just look back.
So which doorway? The one
The one
you
that
came
Fuse
through?
walked through.
So as you walk into the kitchen and look through that doorway looks into the foyer.
So can I
Thank
actually
you.
see myself?
You can't. It's a series of 3 rooms.
Okay.
Theoretically, if you could lean far enough through the doorway, maybe. But you come into the entryway. There's the foyer ahead of you and the dining room to your left. If you walk in the dining room, this door looks like it leads to the foyer. You can see a door leading to the entry room on the other side.
Huh.
So what we're looking for is another room, which appears to be missing.
And would be where this doorway would lead to. But
Oh, hi,
this
I'm in the
doorway
kitchen. Isn't that neat?
doesn't lead there. Geez, is there like a lever or something? I'm just gonna look around for like
Yeah,
a
you should get a
lever or a
perception check,
switch
Seekers.
or a 23.
Ooh, natural
Hey, a
20
Delta.
over here.
Nice.
As you're looking around here, your natural 20, whatever critical success number that gives you, as you're walking around through these 3 rooms looking, what's interesting is that they all do seem to link together seamlessly. You get the feeling that you are just out of range of literally seeing your own back end as you go around this circuit here. And as you've walked through, there is still the exterior door in the foyer, no matter how you walk to it. So it seems to you, like, although this loop doesn't make any sense and is almost impossible to mentally parse, that you are You got the assuming the outside is a fixed place that isn't part of this. You do seem to be passing through some kind of a portal that's leading you from the foyer door to the dining room door. You're never actually going into the northwestern section of the hut.
Do we? Do you still have that key for the front door, or did that disappear?
It
disappeared with the
disappeared
door.
when I put it in there. But is there like a switch or a lever or maybe
You
some
don't see any
runes
kind
that
of
power this
runes,
thing?
levers, or switches, any kind of mystical hidden buttons of any sort. You just need a way, perhaps, to see through this illusion, to see where you're supposed to go.
So
What are the walls made of?
Now, the inside of this is all wood. It's the inside of logs and planks of the outside of the hut.
Oh, really? Would you say?
does there seem to be any pattern in the illusion, in the way the illusion sets itself out?
It's impossible, honestly, without looking through the open front doorway to kind of center yourself with a point of reference. It's impossible to even tell anything is wrong because you seamlessly walk through these 3 rooms and each threshold seems exactly as it should be.
So I need to figure out if this is an illusion or if this is a portal. So if it's an illusion, simple physical things I don't think would be tricked by it because they don't have a memory. So I'm going to go to my old standby, the bag of pebbles.
All right?
All right.
Yes, we have many of those.
You have rocks.
I have rocks. I find them incredibly useful. I'm going to pitch a rock through the doorway.
As you throw a rock through the doorway, anybody standing in the entryway would be able to see it come out of the opposite room.
Just for the sake of trying, I'm gonna walk through the door backwards.
So you turn around and walk backwards through the door. Turn back around to find you're still in the other room. There's a
Worth
good
a
thought.
shot.
I'm gonna cast Mage Hand and actually start running it over things to see what the transition points are between what's real and what isn't, to see if I can actually find those set points.
So what's interesting, your mage hand, as you conjure into existence, gives off a little bit of just a subtle glow, the phantasmal object that it is. You can feel around the frame of either of these doorways. It seems to be perfectly sturdy and solid. It seems natural. But what's interesting, when you look at it, is that bit of light coming off of the hand. While you're looking at it, it appears to be normal. Somebody looking from the third room, from the entryway, would not see any light at all given off by the mage hand until it had passed over into the other room. Then they would see no light back from whence it came.
Huh. That is interesting.
Well, I've stolen a few books in my time. Maybe I can recall in this little noggin here if there's anything I can figure out.
Let me... Well, yes, definitely try that.
All right, then.
What are you trying to think?
I'm gonna just try and see if I can identify, like, how maybe identify the spell itself or
Okay.
what's setting it up. I have Arcana and Occultism,
I'll take a cult.
+9. So, do I roll or
Doesn't-
you roll?
This doesn't need to be a secret because it's not a critical failure penalty. It's just like, can you figure this out or not?
Okay. 18.
And then 18. The only thing you can really glean from this clearly is that light specifically doesn't seem to pass through this exactly correctly. And further testing with the mage hand and even with the light sources you have on your persons makes that fairly obvious. The hut itself is pretty well lit, so it's easy to miss until you're exactly looking for it. And it took the colored blue glow of the mage hand to really make it apparent. But everything seems to pass through just seamlessly, except light.
I wonder if we darken the rooms.
That's what I was thinking.
Snuff all the lights. Got it. Just immediately just start like smacking candles and.
I'll turn off light.
Yeah, I will also turn off light.
As you all quelch your light spells, cap your ever-burning torch, take some dirt from the door and smother out the hearth fire, the inside of the hut is plunged into near complete darkness.
How do we tell if it worked?
It's not very light outside, and certainly inside this building now it's almost pitch black.
All right.
Feel your way around.
So let's see.
Except you have dark vision?
I do have dark vision.
I also have dark
I
vision.
also have dark vision.
So the
Dwarfs.
doorway.
So the three of you with dark vision, as you walk in, looking around, looking through these doorways, nothing appears to have changed. You can still head over and you can pass through and you leave from the kitchen and end up in the foyer. Marn, as he's kind of fumbling around, completely unable to see, following along somebody through the dining room to this doorway. As he passes through the doorway, you know that complete drop of your stomach when you think that you're at the bottom of the stairs, but there's actually one more stair.
Oh God, I hate that.
Imagine
yeah.
that, but you didn't know there were stairs in the first place.
Oh.
As you step to the doorway, you hear a massive metal cacophony as Martin catches himself almost falling down what sounds like a set of stone stairs.
Oh, good, you found it. Excellent, Marn.
But he was just behind me.
Torch.
Those of you who could
torch.
see would see him walk through and simply not be there anymore.
I have
Oh.
low light.
You're completely blind.
Okay.
So if we can see it, it isn't there, and if we can't see it, the illusion can't trick us.
So maybe just close our eyes?
Close our eyes and just go by feel. And
Roggies.
follow Marn.
Roggies, put your hand on my shoulder. I can do this. Oh, that's heavy. All right, so we're gonna try this.
Just leaning down all the way down here.
Okay.
All right.
Why are Havok so heavy? I'm not carrying you, am I?
And we need to
That's
count
just my arm.
steps.
So Marn's going to actually try to uncap his ever-burning torch after falling down the stairs.
Immediately shunted.
And
Back
as
up.
you,
No, no, no,
the crash of what is it? Launches him through the roof. You'll count the torch. You can see that you are on a set of stone stairs that appear to lead down into a stone cellar beneath the hut. You can see the dining room behind you. You can see these two idiots fumbling along, eyes closed in complete darkness. You can see everything as it seems like it rightfully should be.
I'm not going to tell them just yet.
So watching them fumble around for a moment,
I don't have my eyes closed. I just couldn't see.
eventually,
So I'd see your torch.
yeah,
Hey.
his eyes covered, and I mean you can't see the torch until you
Yeah, once I get down
Once you get down there, you can see the torch as well. And actually, once he lights that up inside, you can see the light coming from the stairs, and you can see through the doorway perfectly fine. Fuse has his eyes closed and has no idea.
So we're still going the right way, right?
Shh, don't tell him.
I think so. Just
Okay.
a little farther.
But you all end up on a set of steps leading down into a fairly small cellar.
I don't like
About
that.
15 feet across, 20 feet wide.
This
Like
does
a wine
not look
cellar.
like a
But
fairly
there is a
small...
hallway leading off of it. There's a hallway leading off into the distance. This whole area seems to be lit by what look like the glow of a wall of blue and white crystal at the far end of this hallway, flanked by a pair of strange statues set in alcoves,
I don't
20 feet down.
I don't want to alarm anyone, but I think we're in over our head.
Raise
Well-
your hand if you think this was perpetrated by a very bored wizard. Everyone, other vote. Raise your hand if you think those statues are gonna come out and try to bash us over the head if we try to walk past them. Well, at least we know what we're dealing with.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So as the group of you
Just going down.
cautiously advance,
Take a
here,
step, ready a lunge. Take a step, ready a lunge.
100% positive these two statues are gonna do something terrible. Marn, with his halberd at the ready, moves in front of one of them. Now, each of them seem to be statues of women. Kind of. Something's a bit off about them. Their proportions aren't quite right. They're hunchbacked. One of them looks incredibly thin and frail. Her fingers almost on the ground with how oversized her arms are. And this is a statue, so they were made this way intentionally.
Or it was just a really bad masonry worker.
Very long hooked nose protruding from her face and what looks like barely any stringy hair just drooped down across her shoulders and in front of her chest. Dressed in look like simple tattered leathers.
Huh.
The other, larger, almost bulbous, almost spherical, much squatter, but with a blunt, similarly hooked nose set between her massively round cheeks. Eyes not even carved into statues, into the statue beneath the massive, thick waves of hair that obscures the top of her face and drapes down almost to her knees.
So maybe
looking near like seaweed.
Maybe we are in a wizard's, and these are his concubines.
Well, maybe they were turned to stone by the basilisk and put down here as
that's
wizard
true.
weird art.
I highly doubt that. Anyone this ugly in the area, and we surely would have heard about them.
But what are these things? They don't even look human. They look, well, not.
Well, the big one kind of looks like my Aunt Marty.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Huh.
But the statues don't seem to make any move to attack you or cause any kind of a problem. Surprisingly,
I don't believe it.
I
do
don't
anything.
believe that at all.
this hallway
Yet.
ends in a wall of this strange crystal.
Do you want to try the pebble technique again?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe we should back up first.
Pebble.
As you throw it with a deafening blast, the entire wall of crystal completely and utterly shatters.
Oh my god.
Into
My
a
goodness.
billion splinters, where behind you can see two figures. Another strange woman with a simple brown vest, her skin green, her flesh pale, her back so hunched that her torso doesn't even really add any height to her. Her hands almost on the ground, hunched over, with limp white hair dangling by her face, obscuring much of her features. With her is Flonk.
That makes total sense. Flonk Muse is just a reflection of himself.
Aunt Marty?
As they both look, both of them seeming surprised, turning towards the crystal as it falls apart. Flonk turns, Beatrice, I didn't expect guests. And the woman raises her hands and immediately starts incanting a spell.
I am so sorry.
Before we go into this, Fuse, make things go boom.
Ah!
Hashtag guess who from, well, guess who.
Thank you.
It's Deadly Doll.
It's Deadly Doll.
I didn't know that.
And I'm gonna need you guys
I'm still scooting.
to roll me some initiative here.
No, I'm still
Oh
apologizing.
no, same here. Both apologizing.
I'll take this one out.
Do we still get the scouting bonus or no?
We still get the scouting
Okay.
bonus, yes. You're still scouting. Take my rack of things here. And Marn, we'll start with you.
Well, since I'm still apologizing and partially frozen because I didn't expect my pebble to explode the entire wall, I got a 15.
Okay, yes, certainly not super ready for whatever's happening here. Rogish.
I'm still looking at the statues. I got an 8.
Fuse.
I don't like casting magic things. That's a 25.
Filippo.
Filippo just likes music. That's a 17.
What'd you get, Marn?
15.
Adelpha.
I also got 15, but I'll go behind mine.
You guys were hot on this one.
Well, it was very surprising in our defense.
That's what a hard one looks like.
This woman here, whoever she may be, looking almost human, but not quite.
Oh, I can see the resemblance actually.
She needs orthopedic shoes.
She
Told you the muse is a shoe.
is very focused on pulling this spell together here. And Flonk, nearby with whatever exactly he is doing here, is going to end up with a 25. Seeing the group of you, Flonk, dressed in strange, almost finery, a much more...
Do players win ties?
You had 25, too? Oh, they had 24. Dressed almost in a strange greenish finery, with a leather belt drawn around at his waist, something almost akin to a full-bodied gown. He doesn't seem to have any weapons save for a gilded mirror tucked into his belt. And as he rushes towards you, Fuse, go be first.
Don't like it. Don't like it. I'm gonna scoot between me mates to about. I need to get within 30 of big scary woman.
Okay, it's really hard to count tiles here. So you could get up to right here.
That's good.
In front of them.
I'll go
It's a
with
little awkward because the tiles that are on the floor are half of an actual square.
fair
So look at the tokens.
Right there. No magic for you. I'm just reaching in my vest and I'm pull out a big old bottle of alchemist fire and I'm a lob it at her. I got good little strong arms. That's right. So, it's going to be moderate alchemist fire. Ooh, that's really nice. So that's another +1. So that comes up to a 28.
That'll definitely hit.
Right, thank you.
D8s, I think.
It's actually D8s, yeah.
Ooh.
Here is this woman, and since I don't have any kind of an actual Filippo token, I have something to represent him properly.
You mean Flonk?
Flonk,
Flonk.
you're giving him a boggart.
He gets a bug.
Is it because it starts with a B?
Well, it's because it looks the closest to him.
Alright, so she takes 10 fire damage, 2 splash fire damage, and 2 persistent fire damage.
Wow. Okay, so she hits her and she bursts into flames immediately.
I'll make you go boom! And
Yeah,
I'm gonna scoot right back.
That's how Plaguestone went for all of us, actually. Just
Fair enough.
alchemist
Yeah.
flask to the face. You're on fire now.
I'm gonna go right back behind them.
You hurry back behind the group here. Flonk at the front here, looking over to this explosion, taking a bit of the splash damage here, calls out, "Beatrice, what do we do? What is this?" Before just rushing forward, almost confused, towards Marn in the doorway, just running at you like a crazy person, just with his hands.
Okay.
And as he goes to swing his fist, his guise drops. And instead of Flonk, you see this is some kind of bulbous-headed, alien, fleshy creature. A long, almost snake-like tongue dangling out, a clawed hand launching
What?
towards you.
Huh.
Leaving the clothes, the belt, and everything, but a weird alien
And
striking on your direction.
And I don't have a reaction yet because I
do
haven't
not
acted
yet.
Okay.
And this strange transformation is certainly going to leave you flat-footed
Oh, okay.
as he swings.
Yeah, that's fair.
For a 28.
A 28 with flat-footed will critical me, actually.
Let's second.
It's like,
Put you up here.
Flunk, what are you doing? Oh!
Here's a more appropriate token
Ah, thank you.
for our friend. I could not put on the table immediately. But as he rushes forward, his claws almost gouging straight through your armor. He is going to slash Marn for 32 damage.
Oh my god! This is the Plaguestone I know and remember.
And then swing his other clawed arm, almost stumbling for only a 9.
Only a 9? Okay. Yeah, it's a skitter.
Put it all into the first one.
All right, Filippo.
Some new face scars for that one. Just blood streaming from a head wound.
Filippo's eyes will widen, and he'll say, "We need this more than ever. My friends, hear my composition and know the true sound of music." And he will sing out in opposition to this thing's gurgling sounds, trying to drown them out and suppress your fear. And he'll let off inspire courage with lingering composition.
Second focus point.
Second focus point.
Focus points are cool.
They do things. That's going to be a 18.
18 is exactly DC for a 3rd level character. It will last 3 rounds.
And then I will shield. Because that's
Good idea.
Because that's what heroes do.
Good idea. Marn!
Wait, what? Jeez. Bloody scrapes. Marn's a little panicky, actually. He's not really sure what the heck is happening. But his battle instincts will take over. He's going to pivot next to him and finish behind him. Giving a good 10-foot distance there.
Okay, fair enough. I'm taking this position in the center of the room. As you move in, you can see at the far side of the chamber here what appears to be a window in the floor, almost. The stone gives way to glass with blue runes scribed all across them. A massive triangle separating it into several different sections with radial circles emphasizing the angles throughout. Beneath it seems to be the depths of space. Stars and darkness.
Huh. All right, that's like the coolest freaking like Arkenforge thing I've yet seen.
Arkenforge is pretty. That's a really cool.
Huh. Okay. I'll think about that later. In the meantime, I'm gonna whack this thing. That's the 14.
14, it's fairly quick, and though it bears no real armor or anything, ducks under the blade as you circle around and swing. Give you one action.
I have one action left, huh? Okay. I'm going to. I'm in pretty rough shape, actually. So I'm going to take one more step away.
Get a little bit of distance.
Yeah, half a square. Yeah, perfect, right there.
Alrighty, Adelpha.
Okay, is Martin still within 30 feet of me?
I think I counted it, so I was.
Okay.
Yep, he is.
Okay, perfect. I am, Sarah and Ray, we could actually use a little help here. And I'm going to hit 2-action heal for 18.
It's helpful. I like it.
And then I am going to see.
Did you roll 2 1s? Was that a first level heal?
That was the second level. 2d8 plus
2d8
8?
plus 16.
Oh, plus 16. Oh, I thought it was plus 8. Oh, okay.
8 more than what you just said.
8 more than what I just got.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
26.
Significantly better.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot that doubled also. Okay, and then I will try and recall knowledge and see if I have any idea what this is.
Which thing?
The one that is slashy.
It's gonna be society, actually.
Purple tongue tall.
Society plus 6. Why society?
Because it is technically humanoid. Though this thing is a strange alchemical creation. Something much akin to the strange fabled creatures like doppelgangers or things that can assume other forms. This is a man-made one, crafted of alchemy and magic. This is a bone shifter. And they work very similarly, though they need some kind of a treasured item to be able to take the guise of another human. They can read minds and are constantly aware of the thoughts of all humanoids around them. Otherwise, as far as threats in this particular situation, just slappy claw hands. They're not particularly fighters, really.
Say that to Marn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, right?
Okay, that's my turn.
Alrighty, that brings us to
Lady on
the
fire.
green lady, who is very on fire. She is very, very on fire, and as she finishes this incantation here, turning to Marn, getting closer, she is going to take a stumbling step backwards before she completes. The green of her skin highlighted by bubbling, viscous ooze. As she puts 2 hands together, she just flings in your direction almost as a bolt of this sludge. And let me get to this window. Let's switch the thingy. Hold on, I hit the wrong window. I'm bad. There we go. And I need, is this a hit roll or a reflex save? I forgot. Really fast like. It is a hit roll.
Woo!
It's going to be a 16.
16. It will catch the armor and gambeson only, leaving flesh unharmed.
Yeah, and dissolving burning away a fairly decent chunk of the gambeson, leaving a bright, polished sheen on your metal there.
Nice.
That brings us to Rogish.
Well, we got an angry claw thing in front of us, so I think we're going to go say hi to it. So I'm going to 5-foot step up directly in front of it,
Okay.
getting between me and everyone else. And as I'm going to lay some strikes on it, I'm going to recall knowledge to see if I can identify what this is back here.
Also society.
That's a 1.
Well, it's natural 20, so
Flawless.
this is a hag. A full-fledged
Not like a bog hag or
green
anything?
hag, one of the weaker types of hag, but one of the ones that it would be possible you would know anything about. They, as all hags, are both powerfully potent spellcasters and incredibly strong manipulators. They, too, can take the guise of near anything they deem suitable, and very frequently use that for pretty much exclusively nefarious deeds. And these hags' deception are so great as their mere touch can lay the weight of doubt on your mind, making you, well, a little bit less strong, or enfeebled, you could say.
I think he's one step north.
Yeah, directly in front of it.
Oh, okay. That's one action. And 2
All
actions
right.
for steps, you got one left.
So I haven't gotten into stance yet, but I'm going to bring my hands up and lay into this thing with a flurry of blows as I'm calmly describing the hag in the background to the party.
Are you sure that's not my Aunt Malda?
I'm sure. Blow her up. The more she touches us, the worse it'll be.
So wait, you set her on fire when you thought she was your aunt?
She'd appreciate it.
All right, so the first one goes wide because I'm not used to just throwing hands. Normally it's feet. So the second one is... You're performing, right? 17.
17 also, this quick creature here, you're going to dip aside from both of these strikes. I think it's to fuse. Oh, and she also, how much persistent damage does she take? 2?
2 fire
She's
damage.
just going to take 2 more. She's just still on fire, burning in the distance, still on fire.
Flame, she's gonna burn forever.
Well then, if she's a hag and she's not my Aunt Malda, it's time for the good stuff. I'm gonna reach down into my pouch and I'm going to scoot up so I can get within. Let's see. I only have to move right 1 square back, right there.
Behind me.
Yep, just basically kind of like catty corner to Rogish and pull me small goblin arm right into it. Hop. And throws.
What are we
Shot put.
throwing?
We throw in a moderate vial of acid.
You got a lot of these.
I do. I make a lot of bombs.
I think he started with like 12 of these
Nice.
things.
Yeah.
It's nice when the alchemist's on our side.
I'm gonna spend me. Thank you, Deadly Doll, for the wonderful donation. I'm gonna spend this because I gotta make things go boom. Ha! I picked it
You
up.
did pick it
You
up.
got it. Wow, that's actually impressive.
It's
honestly.
really impressive with the
Massive
welding gloves.
goggles, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Hey!
Hey, that's really nice. And you're performing. That brings me up to a 28.
You are just splashing her with these bombs.
That's what you get for looking like Aunt Malda. So she takes 2d6 persistent damage and 2 splash acid damage.
God, her persistent damage is just gonna get melted.
Acid persistent damage.
So that's 6 acid, right? Oh wait, does it?
It's persistent, so it doesn't even tick until her turn.
Okay,
Acids
that's-
do very little up front, but they do a ton over time.
Okie dokie.
So she's on fire and also boiling. And as it comes around to her getting splashed with this acid and this flame here, she turns, looking to Marn, looking to the group of you coming in, and just calls out, "No! Not yet! Not after all the coven is done! We're not ready!" And reaches a hand towards the strange window portal thing behind her. And as she does, in a very quick flash, each of you see the symbol, the strange mark in the center of this portal, just appear in your vision, almost filling it entirely in an instant, completely blinding you. And as it fades, you kind of blink the stars out of your eyes. You find yourself back outside the front door of the hut. You've just been banished from here, along with all of the clothes that the Bone Shifter was wearing, just kind of heaped in a pile. You're all in this same kind of formation, strewn across the front lawn of this thing. Right in front of Rolgeese, just a pile of this gown and a belt and mirror tangled up in it.
I didn't drink anything before I left.
I didn't eat anything funny.
I'm gonna poke the clothes with my foot.
You don't appear to move or react.
Yeah.
Probably they shouldn't.
Just gonna sift through them, see if it's hiding in there.
The thing appears to be gone, but what you find is this gilded, ornate end mirror. Polished to a perfect shine,
I found the Muse.
with Flonk's name engraved kind of crudely into the bottom like a child marking his possessions.
His muse
Told
was
you.
his own image.
I told
Literally
you
can't
that.
stop looking
The
at
shape
himself.
of the handle perfectly matching the hole in the soft mud outside the hut where something had been dropped.
Looks
Well,
like we all lose.
I'll
All
still-
of us.
And
I'll
certainly,
still buy you a drink.
Flonk is going to be
I'll
very
get
happy
you one too.
to have his muse back. That which inspires him, the most magnificent thing he's ever laid eyes upon. Himself.
I cannot wait to get out of Veterans
So
Folly.
he can properly
It's
see
no
himself
wonder
in
he's
his
such a
art.
bad bard.
Once more.
I have never wanted to punch someone in the face so badly.
Everyone, it is going to be it for our last adventures here in Etrin's Folly. We hope you have enjoyed the mirrored,
We would
missing
leave regardless.
Muse.
There's no way.
Certainly this party is leaving Etrin's Folly forever.
Hags can have it. It's
Throwing
fine.
these at him. Doesn't matter what this may mean. Disregard it forever. Thank you, of course, Paizo, for letting us be a part of PaizoCon. If you enjoyed this, we're actually here every Saturday, usually at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time with our Age of Ashes campaign with these same fine people. And even sooner than that, this Monday on my own channel, twitch.tv/Squish, with our Extinction Curse adventures, starting at literally the exact same time. Well, it's 1 hour earlier than here. It's 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. We're going to send all you guys over to the Glass Cannon team, who's getting ready to continue their shenanigans. You may or may not have heard of them. They are some particularly interesting Pathfinder folk, and I'm sure you are positive to enjoy the show they put on. But thank you
Indeed.
for coming around. Hope you guys had fun. Goodbye, everybody. And, of course, I gotta thank our patrons who let us, do this whole show. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.